First part of this podcast is just going to be us eating treats. Please join us on today's episode where we eat sugar.
Hey, Alyssa.
Hey, Sam.
Are you ready for today's podcast, would you say?
I am ready, I would say.
All right.
I had to change my shirt because my other one had popcorn butter stain on it.
Oh.
I know, I was kind of sad about it.
Yeah, that's not
I didn't realize that I was being quite so heathen-like with it last night.
I realized as I was adorning my sweatshirt, I wear this a lot on the podcast.
You do?
Yeah.
Probably because it's like a comfy, cozy time.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. It's hot up here today, though.
Yeah, it's warm.
Yeah. Anyway, that's our podcast.
And see you next week.
Yeah. So in today's episode, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to someone who follows me on Instagram. I didn't remember how the conversation came up, but we started telling each other gross stories. Okay. So I told her a gross story that I'm going to tell on the podcast today. And then she told me a gross story I'm going to tell you guys because she said I could. She said I could. Yeah. And we were like, we should do this as like a podcast episode. Get people to tell us gross shit that's happened to them and tell you guys. So this is a warning. This episode will be filled, I'm sure, with like gross food things and just like weird bug stories, I'm sure. I haven't read any of the ones that people have sent in.
We're keeping it fresh.
Yeah. But just based off of the two immediately, probably pretty gross. So that being said, you're welcome. Story number 1, my story. This is my truth. This is my story. So some of you may know, about 3 years ago, I went traveling to Central America, and I did 6 weeks down there. We started in Costa Rica, and we made our way up to Mexico. We skipped a couple countries, but kind of like made our way up. And so this story happens traveling from Belize to Mexico. So we were in like week 4 or 5 of our travels by this point, and I had already gotten food poisoning from chicken at this point. So I was like pretty turned like off of food in general. Like I ate pretty well in Central America. I will say I really enjoyed the cuisine. Especially like Costa Rica, like arroz con pollo, rice and chicken, fuck me up. But we had been traveling for a couple days in the point of this story. So we left Belize, and I'm kind of like, it's like kind of a blur at this point, but I know that we ended up taking a boat. So I think we were on this island called Cockroaches, and then we took a boat to Belize City, and then I'm pretty sure we took a boat all the way to Quintana Roo. And
so
then
here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we left at like 6 a.m. We hadn't had breakfast. I'm pretty sure one of us, the girl I was traveling with, was hungover. So it was kind of like a rough day anyway, like trying to wake up and get ready to go at 6 a.m. I had actually tried to get off that island 3 times prior, and we had missed the boat 3 times. So I was ready to leave Belize. Love Belize. Beautiful, beautiful country. Ready to get off that island. Yeah. Okay. So we left at 6 a.m. I think that we arrived in Quintana Roo like sometime in the afternoon. So we were freaking hungry. Like there was nothing open when we got to Belize City. So we had to take the boat from Belize City to Quintana Roo, like hungry basically. I don't know if we took a bus. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure it was a boat. So we
You don't recall whether or not you were on land or water?
Sam, I can't explain to you how quick this trip was. Like we took so many buses and like shuttles, and it was we freaking moved around. Okay, and I'm just like, it was a lot. It's all a blur.
Okay.
I don't even really remember like what happened in what time frame, like which country we were in at certain points, but so we arrived in Mexico, Quintana Roo, in the afternoon, and we got off the boat. They checked all of our bags and stuff like that, and then we took a car to a bus station where it was going to take us into Playa del Carmen. At this bus station, there was this like tiny little, like it was like a gas station, but I don't think that it had gas. Like I think it was just like a convenience store sort of thing. And because I had been sick for so long with food poisoning, I had been eating just like plain shit. Like I hadn't really had like a full meal in a while. I I had some full meals in Belize, but anyway, I was like freaking just like ready for a real meal. And along the way, all we had been eating were like Doritos and freaking Pringles. Like my diet
Doesn't tide you over, you know?
No, my diet consisted a lot of Doritos and Pringles. It took me a long time to eat a Dorito again. So at this convenience store, they actually had burgers. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready for a freaking burger. Like the real food, like meat, bread, cheese, lettuce, tomato. I was ready for it.
I like how a burger is like your threshold of real food.
At that point it was, because like when we were traveling, like we took an overnight bus from, I don't know what country, but I know that it was on the way to Guatemala because I also got almost left at a rest stop in Guatemala. Yeah. In the middle of the night, we had stopped for gas. I had to go pee and get a sandwich. Anyway, so along those travels, all you're stopping at are like these convenience stores that usually just have like chips and pop and stuff like that. So a burger was freaking real food.
Luxury.
Yeah, it was luxury. So I purchased a burger. The girl I was traveling with also purchased a burger, but I'm pretty sure she ordered a veggie burger. And she didn't want hers warmed up, probably because it was a veggie burger. So she was like, whatever. Excuse me. I wanted mine warmed up. So I got her to put it in the microwave or something like that. Can't remember. And then I paid for it, came outside, and then my girlfriend was still in the convenience store buying her shit. So I started eating my burger without her. I was like halfway through. Oh God. She came out and I hate it. She came out and she opened. So these burgers were in like little styrofoam, like clamshell things. She came out and she opened hers, and like maybe 100 fruit flies flew out of it. And I looked at her and I was like, what the fuck? And she literally just like shoved it away from her. She was like, disgusting. I looked at the top of my styrofoam thing, and because I had mine warmed up, the fruit flies obviously died.
Oh God.
They were stuck, like plastered, steamed to the top of the styrofoam. I took a better look at the top of my hamburger bun.
Okay. How did you not notice this when you first opened? You were in a blind rage.
I think, honestly, tired, probably hungover, maybe a little seasick. Like, honestly, I was so hungry, Sam. Yeah. Like, I was just like, this is a burger. I'm finna eat it, okay? So, on top of the burger, I opened up the burger patty full of fruit flies. Like, and I had eaten half of this burger at this point. Just like, I can't even explain to you. Like, I was like, how did I not see this? I don't know if I thought it was like sesame seeds on top or like pepper or like what it was, but I was like, I'm literally.
These are some earthy sesame seeds. Wow.
I consumed so many fruit flies, all because dog.
Look at this girl.
All because I wanted my freaking burger warmed up. So anyway, it was a long time before I was able to consume meat, honestly, again, because I had gotten food poisoning from chicken in Nicaragua, and then this burger thing happened to me in Quintana Roo, Mexico. I just started eating like noodles and cheese, basically.
I'm just gonna say it. Carbs have never wronged me, not once.
The girl I was traveling with, I'm like, I'm never eating chicken again, and she's like, yeah, okay, Alyssa. I do eat chicken, but it was like, yeah, it was pretty gross. I felt really jealous that she did not eat. Not that I wanted her to eat the fruit flies, but I kind of wanted like someone to like share this trauma with. Yeah. Yeah, and I had been eating veggie sticks at the same time, and I think I still had some in my mouth like while I was swallowing, and that veggie stick like mush stuck in my throat, and it just felt like a bug. And I was just because of like what I was witnessing as I was like swallowing these veggie sticks. I couldn't eat veggie sticks for like a very long time. I don't think I even have eaten veggie sticks.
What is a veggie stick?
They're just like little like chips, but they're supposed to be healthier for you because they're like veggies, but I'm pretty sure that it's just like potato.
Oh, like the straw thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Maybe they're called veggie straws.
I think
that would make more sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was pretty horrific.
That sounds horrific.
Yeah, so that's my gross story.
All right, well, my story isn't gross in the same way, but I can just talk about it just because like I'm here and now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had been traveling. We were at my cousin's wedding out in Saskatchewan, and then we were going to Vegas for like some work stuff. And Matt was with me in Vegas, and he like the first day
first. Lay down, Kuma.
Lay down. Kuma, lay down.
This is my time to shine, Mom.
Yeah.
Lay down, baby. If you want to stay in here, you have to lay down, honey. Or else I'm going to have to.
I don't know what you're saying.
Go on.
So we were going down to Vegas, and the first day that we got there, Matt was super sick. And then, like, for the rest of the time, I thought he was being a baby because men are babies. But he had, like, all the blinds shuttered. Like, he was, like, he wouldn't eat anything. He wouldn't drink anything. Like, I was, like, bringing him, like, food and stuff like that. He wouldn't, like, have anything. He was, like, so ill. And I was like, you have to, like, eat something. And he was like, no. Like, so disgusted. And, like, all he consumed during that time was basically Gatorade. But he was, like, violently ill, and I thought he was being a baby. And then we got home back to Vancouver, and I was supposed to fly out the next morning to, like, a work thing. And that night, I caught whatever Matt got, and I was, like, up the entire night. I was so sick. And all through the morning, and I was, like, texting my manager in the morning, and I was like, I can't get on this flight. Like, I'm, like, dying right now. And she was like, are you sure? Like, I can come pick you up. And I was like, Jess, I'm shitting while puking between my legs. Like, in a very not, like, I'm not even trying to be dramatic. Like, I was actually shitting and vomiting at the same time. And then, like, me trying to push my shit out would, like, make me nauseous. So then I would, like, get down on the ground to start, like, vomiting, and then I'd be, like, vomiting, and then, like, me pushing out the vomit would make me need to shit. So then I would, like, jump back onto the toilet, and then at one point I was just like, I just opened my legs, and I was like, ah! Well, I was, like, shitting as well. So that's the grossest I've ever felt.
Okay.
And that went on for, like, far too long. Like, I'm not really sure how I survived that, to be completely honest.
Like, how many days?
you talking about it being all a blur, and I'm like, this was like
it was all a blur.
Yeah, I'm getting, like, war flashbacks. I really don't know, but I know that I definitely did not get on that flight. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I was at home, and Matt was like, see? I was like, yeah, Matt, thanks. He was also wanting me to have a fruit fly covered hamburger.
Was he?
Yeah, he was like, I told you I was sick. And I'm like, okay, but, like, you catch a common cold and you're that sick and you, like, act
you're like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So that's just me being gross.
I like that, though.
If you're not, like, watching the podcast on YouTube, you're really missing out currently, because Kuma just has one leg, like, over top of Alyssa's shoulder. And so Alyssa's wearing her, like, a scarf.
This was, like, one of the first, like, snuggle positions that Kuma liked with me.
She's weird, man.
Always, like, wrapped around my neck.
Yeah.
Such a weird gal.
You're so
funny. But I love you. Let's get started with the gross stories. Okay, so I am going to keep these anonymous for, obvious reasons.
Okay.
It's kind of fair. Okay, so someone said, okay, here I go. It is pimple related, so if that's too gross, I get it. Listen, I friggin' love pimple content.
I prefer when the pimple is, like, it's, like, hard shit coming out rather than, like, the ones that are, like, massive pustules.
Yeah, I like the, what are they called? Pour of Wiener or something?
Excuse me?
Pour of Weiner? Can't remember. They're, like, fucking big old boys.
Yeah, like those, like the blackheads that it's like, you must have been growing that for, like, 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that shit.
So, yes, okay, here I go. It's pimple related. Boom. She says, my dad had a huge blackhead, Sam?
Okay.
On his back, parentheses, talking like a raised blackhead. You could feel the lump under his skin, big as a grape, end parentheses. big grape for scale. And he asked me to take a look because I'm the skincare junkie of the family, also not grossed out easily. So I started trying to express it slowly. I like that she used the word express.
That's what they say when they, like, express anal glands. Yeah.
So I tried to express it slowly, and all was going well. I drained a ton of stuff from it and said we should leave it until another day because I didn't want it to get irritated. But my dad adamantly wanted to get everything out. So I shrugged.
Let's get this grape.
So I shrugged and kept on pressing on the blackhead. It seems like there was a lot of pressure backed up under his skin because a few seconds later, a fucking geyser sprung forth and hit me straight in the face, hair, and ear. I almost threw up.
Ew, I'm so glad it wasn't in her mouth, though. That's like my biggest fear is like popping someone else's pimple and then it being like...
Some gross shit's falling in my mouth, for sure.
Go on.
Just...
The podcast isn't ready for that yet.
No, but one time I have a lot of fruit fly trauma. One time I was working and a fruit fly, I think I had like breathed in like really quickly and a fruit fly went up my nose and I was like for sure that it was still in there, like fluttering around, and everybody's like, no, you're crazy, you're crazy. I went back out to keep working and I was like, I literally can feel something in there. So I went to the back and I squeezed my nose like really hard and then I blew out a freaking fruit fly.
Gross.
It was like trapped in there trying to get out, probably in all my friggin' mucus.
Disgusting.
It was the worst.
I've breathed in a fruit fly or two.
I quickly just like skip down in this message.
Oh God.
I don't know that it's that bad, but it's just like, well, no. Oof. These stories should be on Reddit. Okay. This person said, gross story time. My boyfriend and I lived together in an apartment freshman year of college. One time I was cleaning a few days after my boyfriend and I had a few friends over for drinks. I found an open bottle of yellow liquid behind the couch. Turned out to be boyfriend's piss precariously fermenting.
Ew.
Horrified, I confronted him about it and he claimed that he was so drunk and really needed to go and the bathroom was occupied. I'm sure I screamed...
Use a sink, bro.
Yeah, or like go outside. Like
Yeah, you're a boy. Take the liberty.
I'm a girl and I've taken the liberty.
Yeah.
Okay. I've squatted in quite a few places in my day.
Yeah. That's how Alyssa likes to party.
That's why I don't drink. I'm sure I screamed at him for how disgusting it was, but thought it was a one-time thing. Plot twist. It wasn't. And he kicked me out not too long after that. Happy update. My current boyfriend is tidier than I am, and I'm thankful for that. There have been so many stories of people with pee bottles that I've read on Reddit.
Of them drinking it, though?
No.
Oh, that's what I thought was going to happen.
Oh, I mean, that's pretty, like... interesting. Remember that My Strange Addiction where that woman like would put like her urine in her eye and like in the bathtub and stuff like that?
So bizarre, man.
So bizarre. Okay, this one isn't too bad, but it's just like interesting. This chick had to have jaw surgery done and it went wrong a couple of times. So her jaw ended up wired shut for a year straight, but I'm assuming she meant year. She could only drink things out of a straw / couldn't eat anything for a year. When she finally got the wires off her jaw, the doctor had to scrape her tongue off an inch because an inch of white stuff had gathered over the course of the year. She said it smelled terrible and now she's super anal about brushing her tongue, as am I. Could you imagine, though, the amount of buildup?
I mean, no. I can't imagine it. But, I mean... I don't know, man. Mouths are pretty gross. But when I had my gum surgery, my mouth just constantly bled. And so, like, when I first went in, because I got my gum surgery when I was, like, 11. Anybody that doesn't know about my gum surgery. I had my like, bottom teeth, my gum line was receding to the point where, like, my teeth were going to fall out. And so I had to have, they scraped skin off the roof of my mouth and stitched it on to my skin, to my
bottom
gum
gums.
line. Even still to this day, whenever I go to a dentist, they're like, beautiful graft. I'm like, thanks. But when I got that done, like the roof of my mouth would bleed constantly. So I had to get like, they would put like gauze on it and then a retainer. And I had to wear like this clear retainer. And when I first went in, they told me that I could eat like nothing but popsicles. It was me so great. And I was like, oh my God, awesome. I can't wait for this. But my mouth was constantly bleeding. So everything just tasted like blood. And I had to drink, I had to have like cold chicken soup because you weren't allowed anything that was like too hot. I don't know why now that I think of it. But anyways.
Well, why? You have an open.
But it was covered constantly by the retainer.
Oh, then I don't know.
Yeah.
But even like your bottom gums?
Yeah, no, they weren't. They were stitched, but they weren't like covered by anything.
That would make sense to me.
Yeah, I had to have cold chicken soup all the time, and just like imagine the flavor of cold chicken broth with blood. It was very unpleasant. I to this day, I'm like, if this happened to me now, I'd be like, just take all my teeth out. Like, I just wouldn't even want to fucking deal with it. Like, I cannot believe I did that, and I actually was the one who like I pointed it out and I was like, I think I have to like do something about this. My mom was like, oh, okay. And then we like went and talked to a dentist and he was like, you're gonna have to get gum surgery. And I was like, okay. And I was like such a trooper about it, and it was the worst.
Dude, kids are pretty freaking resilient.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is a really short one, but this is interesting because like when we were kids, I feel like this was told or like represented that this was going to happen to us like often, and I've never had it happen to me. But someone said, I was driving from one job to the next trying to eat in the car. I took a big bite out of a juicy, whole, free, clean apple, just like perfect. Worm inside. Worm, she says. I was driving, so I had to keep it together while spitting apple worm bits all over myself until I could pull over. I only eat apples pre-sliced now.
Oh, so she already bit into the worm.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was going to be like in the cartoons when like you take a bite and then the worm pops out.
Pops out.
Like, hey,
No. She like
apple worm bites.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Spit it all over the car.
Gross, man.
Okay, this one is like very long. So
gear up.
She says, so one day we went to the lake and my sister had a soda she was drinking and we took it home. After we got home, she took a drink, then spewed it everywhere and she started just screaming and crying. She was like 11. On the floor, there was a drowned bee. It got into her soda and she almost swallowed it. My dad had a friend. They were all drinking like beer outside of their shop. They had like this like really warehousey shop, and he drank a live bee. It had like gone into his beer can and it stung him in the throat and he had to go to the hospital.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I remember bees would always go into my like whenever we were camping as kids, bees would go into my soda pop.
Yeah. It's actually like you should really check like your drinks in the summer if you're like outside, because
PSA.
Well, because that guy like he had a really bad time, especially if you're like allergic to bees. Could you imagine?
No, I cannot. I can't imagine in general. I don't want a bee stinging me into. Did he swallow it or did he open his mouth for it to fly out?
I don't know the answer, but I think that he probably like it probably got lodged in there. Because he had to get like rushed to the hospital. Like it was like a thing. Ugh. Yeah. He's okay, but like obviously very
he made it out.
Yeah, he did. She says, also, I used to live in a rural I hate saying that word. I'm so bad at it. Rural area, and my neighbors had a farm, so little mice would get into the house sometimes. My cats would play in the garage and leave dead mice on the doorstep. But one day, my cat, the one that's blind now, was yowling. She normally does that when she has a toy. So I said, "What do you have, lady?" And she dropped a mouse into the floor of my bedroom and started running. I had to chase it, and I put it in a tampon box and drove it a mile away because I didn't have the heart to kill it. Aww.
I love mice.
I had pet mice when I was younger.
Did you?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I had a mouse named Buddy, and then my brother had a mouse named House Mouse.
Okay.
That was pretty like clever. My brother's 3 years older than me, so
yeah.
Buddy, House Mouse. And one day we went away to, I think it was like, we were going to our cabin in Ontario for the summer or something. So my dad was taking care of the mice. He put them in a tank together.
Oh, no.
No, it's a different story. Buddy was a man.
Oh.
House Mouse was a girl. And they had little House Mouse babies.
How many?
There was 3 babies, I think, because then we had House Mouse Jr., Lovey, and Hedgehog. And then Hedgehog was mine, and Lovey and House Mouse Jr. ended up being my brother's. But then there actually was one sad day where House Mouse Jr.? No, Lovey ate House Mouse.
Oh God.
To eat him home.
We had frogs growing up. We always had like reptiles in general, but like we had frogs growing up, and so we had this like Cuban tree frog, and it was gigantic. Like it was like the size of like your hand, basically. Like it was huge. And then we had 2 other like small little frogs. And the little frogs would croak all the time, so you like constantly heard them, and especially like throughout the night.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it was. It was like grunt times 10. But at least they were like small, so it was like fairly quiet. But there's some fucking frogs, man, that are loud as all hell. Like we saw some in Vietnam that were like it was ridiculous. Like we were like, what the fuck is that? And then we finally like tracked down the source. It was this like gigantic frog. Anyways, but
was it outside your hotel?
No, it was in like we went on a hike. And there was like a little like fountain area kind of thing like up this hike because it's like a tourist destination.
Yeah.
And it was in the fountain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was weird. And I got like you know how like your iPhone takes like live photos?
Yeah.
I got like a photo of it with like it was ribbiting and its like throat is like but I was looking in our like tank for the other 2 little frogs and I couldn't find them. And they used to always sit on top of the big frog and they would put their hands over his eyes. It was pretty cute, but I was like, he snapped, basically.
Oh, no.
Because we couldn't find them. My mom was like, I'm sure they're in there. They're just, like, under the dirt or whatever. And, like, we still hadn't heard them for, like, a couple weeks. And then we went and, like, looked through the aquarium. And long story short, he ate their heads off. Yeah.
The circle of life.
Yeah, he really fucking went for it. Like, because he was so, like, just, like, subdued. Like, he would just, like, sit there so calmly all these times where all these frogs were, like, like, all over him. And then he must have just one day been like,
oh,
fuck you guys. And I remember when we were watching Spirited Away.
Oh.
Yeah, it was quite sad.
That's very sad.
Anyway.
Okay.
Did Ashley ever tell you about her brother having a pet eel?
No.
Our friend, her brother Troy, had a pet eel named Squirmy. And he would jump out of its cage all the time. Like, he would jump out of the aquarium. And so then the one day, she was like, we walked inside, and her brother was, like, little. And they, like, walked in the door, and Troy was like, Dad! Squirmy's on the floor! Because he was, like, flopping on the floor. The eel died. Very much so.
Some dramatic ending. Yeah. Because of the flopping?
I think it had probably flopped out of its, like, cage, like...
a while.
Oh, it had been flopping.
Oh, no.
Squirmy had been on the floor for a hot minute.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Dad, Squirmy's on the floor! Oh, poor
fuck.
Squirmy. I did not know that. They had some weird, like unique animals.
Yeah, 'cause she had a turtle, too.
Yeah, she did have a turtle. Okay. This person also sent 2 more, I think. She said, when I was way young, like 6 or 7, my mom was having us do chores and my older sister was vacuuming and the vacuum made a weird noise. So she turned it off, lifted it up to look at what was underneath there. And it was just a big blood stain on the white carpet. It was a mouse that had been in our house for a few days that we couldn't find. It crawled into the vacuum and my sister accidentally killed it. So traumatic.
Oh, God.
Oh.
That's sad.
Check your vacuums.
Our second PSA for the day.
While we're here, check underneath your cars too.
Yeah, Alyssa had a gigantic rat underneath her car the other day.
Yeah, I wish I had seen it.
It scampered away.
Yeah, no kidding. Oof. Ants. I hate ant stories.
Dude, that was fucking gross.
That pizza box.
Alyssa and I were like sitting out on our driveway. we were sitting on our driveway. We were eating pizza. And my mother-in-law came over and she was like, how the ants around here been? And I was like, fine, literally never seen one. And she was like, oh, that's good. And then she went to go leave and we went to go put like the pizza boxes in the recycling. And I opened mine up and it was like just fucking crawling with hundreds and hundreds of ants. And I was like, ah!
It looked like we had been like maintaining an ant farm. Like it wasn't even like a couple ants.
For several years.
Yeah, it was like this was on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, it was horrific. Okay, this person said, when I lived in California, I swear it was like an ant farm. Every summer there would be ants everywhere. I remember going to brush my teeth and squeezing out the toothpaste and an ant came out.
Ew.
Same thing happened with contact solution. Or we'd buy groceries and suddenly the pantry was full of ants, had to throw away everything that wasn't sealed. It was disgusting. God. Like I'd reach for a cereal box and I'd get ants on my hand. Ugh, makes me cringe even now. Ants are the worst.
Yeah. This person that I knew down in like Southern California, they had an ant problem. And it was like just constantly there would be like a little stream of ants walking like all over their kitchen.
Yeah. Ants are like really hard to get rid of. Like
yeah,
even with like exterminators and stuff like that, like they just...
Well, they're so little, like, it's so hard to keep them out of, like...
Yeah, like, the little ants are the ones that we always had growing up.
Yeah.
But they only ever were in the basement. Like, they never came upstairs. Maybe because my brother lived in the basement. I'm shading you.
What does this mean?
My brother freaking loved Pepsi. Like
so
he would
leave, like open.
Yeah,
cans
boys
out
are
and
gross.
shit.
Yeah, they like freaking dishes down there and shit like that. They probably had like a feasting frenzy.
I was explaining to Matt the other day like what your like brother's room smell like. Ugh, I hated the smell walking past my brother's rooms.
Yeah, and you had to walk past Stefan's room to get to your room.
Mm-hmm. And our family computer for the longest time was in Aaron's room.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Was Aaron's room was always downstairs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you guys moved it out into...
Yeah, into the like living room area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Huh. That would have been like annoying for him, having like his siblings have to come into the room to use the computer.
Yeah, he was like oddly fine with it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Aw, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, someone just had cockroaches. I have a gross cockroach story, kind of. It's really quick.
Okay.
When I was dying of food poisoning in Nicaragua, San Juan del Sur.
You had a lot of like bad experiences on this
Yeah,
trip.
but like when I look back, like I had a great time. It's just like I really didn't like give two shits. Like I was like, yeah, I'll just like eat whatever and do whatever. But it's like my stomach wasn't used to that. You know what I mean? So I was eating like street food and stuff like that. So, I mean, bound to happen, honestly. But I had food poisoning and I had it so bad. I've had food poisoning before. This was something different. This was like, I actually at one point thought that I was like passing. Like it was so bad. I was like, my whole body was vibrating and I couldn't see properly. It was so odd. Anyway, I was on the top bunk for this like in this hostel, and my friend was in the bottom bunk, but she ended up getting strep throat the exact same day. So her fever was like 103, and so she was like having a really rough time too, so she couldn't even help me. So instead of like trying to climb back up to the top bunk, I would just like sit and like wait until I had to like use the washroom again, basically. And we were in a dorm. Okay, this was not like a private hostel. We were in like we were sharing. Or poor roommates.
I'm like not down for that lifestyle.
It was fun. Like I actually enjoyed it. I was surprised at how well I did. The only thing that I complained about was the cold showers. I really wanted a hot shower by the time we got to Guatemala. But anyway, so I had been sitting on the ground just like waiting to have to use the washroom again. And I guess like I passed out in front of the washroom, which like I wish that I could show you a picture. Like it was the most dingy, like little, gosh, it's hard to explain, but it was like the beds were, for anybody watching the YouTube video, the beds were like here. And then there was like a little weird, like laundry sink. And then the bathroom was right here.
Like a utility sink?
Yeah, kind of. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it was like, there was no basin. It was just like the floor. So it was just like a faucet, I guess. Anyway, I passed out like basically in this like floor area where the faucet is, and I woke up and a cockroach was crawling across my floor.
Gross.
And I literally like 2 days later I got 2 giant pimples right here, and I'm like, if that wasn't from the cockroach, I don't know, like it had to have been from me not washing my face after that cockroach crawled across it.
I had never seen a cockroach before, and I was like standing waiting for an Uber in West Hollywood. And I was like looking down at the ground and I was like, what is that thing? Like it looked like a dark smudge. And then it started like moving towards me and I was like, what the fuck? And then I like started looking around and there was like cockroaches everywhere, like crawling towards me, like all over the place. And I was like, ah! I was like jumping around, like trying to get away, but they were like literally on the entire sidewalk.
Really?
Yeah, and I'd never seen one before, so I didn't I couldn't identify it right away as being a cockroach.
Oh, wild. Cockroaches don't actually really bother me. Like seeing them doesn't bother me. When they're in the kitchen, it bothers me because I'm like, I don't like bugs near my food anyway.
Yeah.
But when they were like in our dorm rooms and stuff like that, I was like, eh. I just like check my bed before I go to bed.
The thing that I don't like about like fruit flies are gross and like whatever kind of thing, but like the thing I don't like about cockroaches is that like if you were to step on one, it would be crunchy.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I just kind of like left them be. Like I kind of
they live here too.
Well, that's kind of how I looked at them, was kind of like, oh, it's just like a mouse, or it's like this thing. It's like, what am I going to do? Step on a mouse? Absolutely not.
Oh my God. When we were in Bora Bora. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh God. When I was in Bora Bora, we were all in our like separate rooms. And during the night, I would like hear these like weird noises, like that just kind of sounded like little like tinking kind of sounds, like something like hitting the floor basically. And I didn't really like pay much attention to it because we were like over the water and stuff. Like I was like, it's probably just like the building's creaking or whatever. Who knows?
Someone who does not have immense paranoia.
Yeah. And so I just like didn't really think anything of it. And then the last morning that we were there, I was getting ready and I heard that noise behind me and I turned around, and on the floor there was like a fucking gigantic, I think it was a cockroach. It was massive. Like, it was ridiculous. And I was like, oh. And then I looked up at the ceiling and like the whole ceiling, there was like all these fucking bugs on top of it. And so basically every night I had been asleep, these bugs were falling off the ceiling and hitting the floor. So I don't know how, like, I didn't, like... Notice or, like, see one on the floor at all or whatever. I guess we weren't in our hotel rooms that much. But
yeah. Crazy. So and that's, like, I mean, it's hard, right? Like, in tropical places, because that was a really fancy hotel.
Well, that's what... I can't remember who I ended up talking to about it, but someone had said that, like, basically, because they're on the water, like, the bugs come in and, like, they just end up staying there because...
Yeah.
There's, like, nowhere for them to really go.
Yeah.
And I was, like, I slept with my doors open every night.
Yeah. You're wild, man.
Dude, it was paradise, okay? There was no one there. Like, it was literally just, like, because in Bora Bora, it's sort of like there's, like, small little, like, islands, like, all the way along. And then pretty much, like, each island is its own hotel.
Yeah.
So our island was, like, just... like the people that were staying on the island, which was mostly the group we were with, because we were with like fucking 30 people, and then like the people that worked there.
I could be assured that I was on like an isolated planet and there was nothing else to harm me, and I would still freaking lock my doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
I slept with that shit wide open.
I mean, I might do that if I was like with you.
It was like so beautiful, and the breeze off the ocean was so nice, and it was like it never really got fully dark there. Like, it was so beautiful.
Rub it in.
Yeah.
I want to go.
One day.
And
those bathtubs were so nice for like 2 people too. Wink. I wasn't there with anyone. But, you know.
You thought about it.
Yeah.
You thought about the possibilities. Mm-hmm. The next story. Sorry. We really liked inserting our stories in there. So someone said, okay, so in high school, I had a friend whose parents basically went, here's the house, we're going abroad. Hey, we had a friend like that.
Yeah, we did.
Because she was like the last of 6 kids, and hold on, sorry, this is like hard to read. Because she was like the last of 6 kids, and in her family. And she did like an end of school year party, and it was like the dishwasher was completely filled with dirty dishes, and there were flies everywhere, and the pool was cloudy because she didn't know how to add more chlorine to keep it clean. Ew. Dude, we were talking about that though. The person that we knew, that hot tub.
I know, it was probably fucking never clean, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, cold day in hell will I leave like my kid alone, like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Not like that. Like for 6 months out of the year, like no. Mm-mm. I wouldn't do that either. But like,
although I have a question. This is like off topic a little bit.
Okay.
But it's our podcast. We do whatever we want. Would you be like, you know how there was kind of like 2 types of parents in high school, where there was like the parent that was like, I'm not fucking buying alcohol for you, and then the other parent that was like, no, I'm gonna buy alcohol because then I know where you got it from, and then like you guys can be supervised in my house. Which parent would you more likely be?
I think that I'm gonna be so strict. Like, I don't want to be strict. I just like know myself and like how
I'll buy you water.
Yeah, like I
Kool-Aid.
guess. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I would do that. I don't think I would buy my kids alcohol.
Yeah, cold day in fucking hell.
Yeah.
Mark my words. Future children.
I don't know. I guess I'll have to see when I get there, but no, I don't think that I'd be doing that. And listen, I think about this person all the time. Her family was like the fucking Boy Meets World family. And I never saw her like at parties. I did in like grade 12, but she was still like always in soccer and like in the global service club and like peer counseling and stuff like that. And I just like hope that that's like my family and my kids. Like, I just want them to not be interested in partying, you know, like they're more interested in going to like sport camp.
That's what I hope my kids are like too cool for it. They're like above it. They're like drinking.
Yeah.
That's so 2011.
Yeah. I mean, like literally living in a fantasy world, but
yeah.
But I think about that family all the time. They had such a like beautiful like family.
Yeah. I would never fucking buy my kid alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, I guess never say never, but
yeah, like I think it's hard because I don't want to make it this thing where it's shiny now because like you're not allowed. Mm-hmm. So I'd be worried about like putting so much emphasis on you can't that they're like gonna rebel. But I think, I don't know. I guess like if they wanted to have like a taste of wine at dinner when they're like 17, that kind of thing, you know.
You are permitted to have a sip of my Merlot.
My Merlot, though, that's the thing, is like there wouldn't be alcohol in the house anyway. So it's like, I'm even thinking of like me before, but no, I would just explain to them that addiction runs in their family and don't you fucking dare.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so this person also said, also, my freshman year of college, I went to visit a friend who was out of the state, and him and the guy that he was living with basically had an apartment off campus, and they had a cat. The place smelled like dirty litter box. I tried to shower because we had gone hiking, and there was mold in the shower. Oh, weird. They had no food, but only beer, and they were buying cloths rather than wash the ones they had, and kept the dirty laundry piled in a closet.
Ew.
Dude, I've seen some nasty, nasty apartments.
Yeah, my one freaking boyfriend lived with like 5 college guys, and it was disgusting. Like, their bathroom was just like a thick layer of pubic hair. It was so gross, man.
Dude, I don't know how you can like use the washroom, and especially like if you stand up to be like, you have to like look into the bowl and you see.
You would assume that that's what men are doing, but no. You would potentially be wrong in that.
Oh man, I would go to my boyfriend's house when I was like 18. He lived in a different province. I would go there and I would clean the first day. The whole first day I would just clean. I would clean the bathroom, the kitchen. Like, it was a mess.
Yeah. When I moved into my one boyfriend's place, I like cleaned it top to bottom, and he didn't even notice when he came home, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I've been cleaning your house for 9 hours. And he was like, what do you like, I keep it pretty clean. I surface clean. And I was like, your surface cleaning is not enough. Like, is your surface cleaning literally just you spraying Febreze? Because like nothing in this apartment was fucking clean.
That place
So
ended up
gross.
getting bed bugs too, right?
Yeah, it was fucking gross, man. Oh, that was disgusting. Ugh. Have you ever gotten bed bugs?
No.
You would literally never come back from that, I don't think.
No, I wouldn't.
It was so gross.
Fleas was like,
yeah,
traumatic enough.
That was your tolerance level.
oh God. This one looks funny. They said, okay, here's a story. I was 15 and super sick, like sick to the point where nothing was functioning correctly. I stayed home from school, and as I was sitting on the couch watching TV, for context, it was a leather couch, so when you sit in the middle of where 2 cushions meet, it opens up a bit, spreading your butt cheeks. I sneezed. Nothing too special, just a sneeze, but as I sat there, I kept getting a whiff of pure shit. I was looking at my dog like, damn, buddy, are you farting? And for a very long 20 minutes, I could not figure out where this smell was coming from. Mind you, I'm still sitting in the same spot because it hurts to move. Then it dawns on me. As I start to get up off the couch to investigate, I shit my pants when I sneezed and didn't feel it because my ass was spread apart, holding the fabric of my pants just far enough away from my skin so I didn't feel it. I still laugh.
How loose are these pants?
I still laugh about it and tell the story often to make people feel better about embarrassing stuff.
How wide of a crevasse was taking place between these cushions, first of all? And how loose would your pants have to be that it was like sagging low enough that you didn't feel it at all?
I mean,
that was like a perfect storm.
I'm assuming they probably had like a fever and like weren't thinking like quite clear. Damn, buddy, are you farting? Just the way that she wrote it too, because it's like some of it's in like all caps.
Oh God, half of it's in caps.
Oh, perfect.
Oh fuck.
I
like that she added a sneeze emoji as well.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one. Okay, last one.
Hit me.
In college, I lived in a house with 3 girls. 3 of us got along really well, but none of us got along with the 4th one. We can call her Anne. Def not her real name. The gross story is the reason why. Anne was always so busy and running late, quotes, to things that she never ended up doing her chores or doing basic cleanliness things. She'd have her friends over and leave the kitchen a mess and have unwashed dishes covering every counter. Her room was an eternal disaster zone with laundry literally spilling out on the staircase. But the final straw was her leaving the stinkiest massive turd in the toilet. Ew. That she clogged and let overflow onto the floor.
Ew.
I ended up unclogging the toilet, and we confronted her when she got home. Apparently, she was running late, quote, to work and thought that it might just fix itself while she was gone. It did not.
Gross. Oh my God, what is wrong with some people, man?
Honestly, these stories remind me of reading like Chicken Soup for the Preteen Soul, but it's like chicken soup for the grossness.
Demonic freaking soul. That just reminded me of I had, when I was living in this one apartment, I had like had some like people over and stuff like that. I was leaving to go somewhere. I can't remember where I was going, but I was going to be gone for like 3 weeks. And when I came home, the apartment smelled like so weird, and it was like the most like indistinguishable smell. Like it wasn't like food going bad or like someone took a shit in my toilet or anything like that. Like I just like couldn't find where the smell was coming from. And I had like the way that was laid out, like I had a roommate that had like a separate bathroom, and then I had my room that had like a bathroom attached to it. So I never used the other bathroom, like rarely. And then the one day, just like out of the blue, like my house has been like stinking for like a fucking week. And then the one day out of the blue, I just like decided to use that one bathroom, and the toilet was like murky. And I was like, oh, that's not like a nice color. And like when I went to go flush it, I realized it was like a used tampon that someone had left in the toilet, and it had sat there and like rotted for over 3 weeks. I cannot even describe. I've never smelled anything like that in my life. Like it was such a bizarre. There's nothing quite like it. Like it really sends a shiver down my spine.
Yeah, like
it was like sour, but like
yeah. I don't need you to like give me the tasting notes from your toilet. Tasting notes
like
from Sam's
citrusy.
toilet. Stone fruit.
It was gross, man. Hey, that's what an olive is. Oh yeah, I text you.
Yeah.
Side note. Yeah.
No one asked for this.
Yeah, I don't like feel very good now.
Good thing you had lunch before this.
Yeah.
I still have to have lunch.
Oh, enjoy.
So, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Do you want a burger?
Sam?
I can microwave it for you.
Stop.
Ugh.
I hope that some of those made you guys feel better about your gross stories. Because
that's what we're here for.
Yeah. We're here to make gross things approachable.
Yeah. Welcome.
If this is your first episode of the podcast, I promise you they're not all like this.
I'm so sorry.
But we thank you.
Who jumps in that late in a season, you know?
Yeah, I guess so.
But if you did, I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for us today, you guys.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.